Our major problem in this our country is because of selfishness. Everyone continues to work on the premise that what is in it for me. Nigeria suddenly has become endangered with the large inflow of illicit drugs, also known as contraband, and fake products. The shipper does not engage anyone before traveling abroad after opening from M to go and ship his goods that are destined for Nigeria. Only him knows what are the contents of what he's shipping down. Nigerians, like the shipping agents in Nigeria, the freight forwarders, don't have an idea of what is in the cargo until when it gets to the stage where you need customs examination with other regulatory agencies, that you suddenly find out that things that were described as so becomes tramadol, etc., etc. That is dangerous, and it's been escalated. If you read the papers or watch the television, you see where custom officers are handing over illicit drugs to NDLA or taking the one for NAFDAC, because that is where people now see as the shortest route to make money. Now, what's the role of the freight forwarder? The freight forwarder are in two categories. There are freight forwarders who represent their principal in the transportation of goods only for the shipper. And there are the custom brokers who go through the documentation processes and clearance with customs, which is a step higher than just being a freight forwarder. Let me classify it properly. An ordinary freight forwarder without custom license is like talking about House of Representatives numbers. And just like the House of Representatives have so many representation in number of 100 and something for Nigeria, you see that the custom brokers serve like the senators. Fewer number, doubly regulated, both by the Ministry of Transport and Ministry of Finance through customs. The bottom line is that the CRFFN, that is designed to regulate the affairs of the custom brokers and those of the freight forwarders, have fallen short in their responsibility, partly because the ministry never thought well that that part of the regulation is important to them. And that was why we, as freight forwarders, also clamored for this blue economy and safety both on the sea and inland, just because we are the representatives of the shipper who keeps you in the dark. And you take a risk of coming forward to do declaration because you are licensed by customs and you are liable to what your principal does. So whenever they open the container and it's tramadol, the first person they grab is the custom agent. So it's a matter of concern for us. So we are expecting the new ministry to analyze the responsibility of everyone concerned in the value chain of cargo arriving and cargo delivery. And until we put our acts together, not just for play, oh, we have a new ministry, how many staff are we employing? No, it's the regulation. It has to be, the regulation is not just going for custom examination and collecting something in your pocket for coming and for seeing, but rather, how do we do processes that add value to cargo clearance? Cargo clearance in Nigeria is one of the most difficult. You can release a cargo within 24 hours if you are in America. In Britain, about the same 24 hours. When South Korea, it's about 3 days. In Nigeria, sometimes about 2 months. I need to find out what is wrong, because all the federal government agencies in the port today have been empowered to raise what they call IGR. That's internally generated revenue outside the budget. So people are more interested in the revenue internally than even the revenue for the federal government. Anybody who is given the opportunity to collect money on behalf of government must surely, no matter how simply you are, collect money for your pocket. That's why the image of those of us in the port industry have already been battered. Say, those people are can't. But it's because of the way the system is created. We need to collectively come together and see how we can solve the problems created by ourselves, collectively, and some individually, because Nigeria cannot proceed further than what is happening elsewhere. We copy the right one, we manage it, and we deliver.
In your submission, you talk about whenever dangerous cargoes are imported, the freight forwarders are the first people that got arrested. Now, we have always been talking about indemnity form for the freight forwarders. When are we going to see this come on board? Because they are not the importers. They should have some form of indemnity. What is delaying this in coming on stream? Thank you.
You mentioned the effect of indemnity in cargo clearance. Indemnity is a surety or guarantee given to you by an importer or a shipper that the cargoes as declared on his documents are what it is in the container. That's simple English. But in most cases, what is on document is quite different from what you see in the container. So running after indemnity is like chasing shadow because it don't tell you the reality. That's why we welcome the tracking note that Shippers Council is midwifing to help us, to give us advanced information on what cargoes are being carried to Nigeria, so that when a shipper gives you documents to clear goods for them, it's either you take it or you leave it. But the most important facility we use, which has sustained people like us for the past 40 years, is KYI. Know your importer. Incidentally, this gentleman here with me is my importer. He has some cargo I'm still clearing for him right now. Sorry for revealing that. Know your importer means you know the type of person he is, what type of job he does. You don't just wake up, somebody gives you a document. Is it because you are hungry or what? You fall into that. But meanwhile, even where you have an indemnity, even where you know that your importer, let me use the word importer so that we can understand more than shipper, lives in this hotel, the bottom line is you don't know his mind. There's no way you can know the mind of someone who plans to do evil that will affect you. They will make sure that you don't know. And it is the customs brokers and the freight forwarders that has interface with everyone working in the industry. Whether you are in MPA, you are in custom, you are in Shippers Council, we must have one thing or the other to do with you. So the bottom line is, when they are caught in a crossfire between the regulatory agency like customs, finding contraband in your container, nobody is ready to go and look for an importer who suddenly decided to go to Canada to go and have a rest. Meanwhile, you are stuck with the container. And it is your license that is registered with the government agency. They'll be happy to take you. So your KYI itself may not even work until you're able to track the importer and hand him over to the agencies. So it's a little bit complicated. But the bottom line is that what is circulating around everybody in the maritime industry today is how much money you can make at about the same time. Don't quote me how that one is done, because I don't know by myself. I belong to the Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents, and they are the largest organization in the port arena who are involved in cargo clearance. I have in the audience there the new national president, and I need to take permission from him before I can give you a commitment so that I don't go back and be fired as a member. Mr. President, can you just wave hands and ask me to go ahead, please? Is he there? Thank you, my president. The commitment we have is that we shall partner with all government agencies to rid the port of processes that lead to encouragement of unsafe practices in the port.
Thank you.
And we also call on the CRFFN to wake up. Let me reveal a secret to you. CRFFN can, with modern tools, operate in a building and satisfy the needs of all the freight forwarders. But like you know, they are busy opening offices, like giving jobs to the boys, which is not adding value for what the responsibility should be. We need to look inward, cut costs of governance, especially in line with the maritime industry, reduce the demand for IGR, internally generated revenue, where the federal government gets 40% and whoever is the the head of the agency is now swimming in money, which is the essence of you being posted to the port and you're a very happy man. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Let the government do something about that.